Welcome to DPV. I'm Josh, and today we're building a flatbed for Fordinand. And by building, I mean we're remodeling. So bought this guy here on Facebook Marketplace for like 150 bucks. And it came off of like a 1950 Chevy 10.5 truck. So it was off a dually. It's a bit too wide for Fordinand, so we're gonna cut her down, split it right down the middle. It's about 8 feet wide now. We're gonna make it 6'8", and then we're gonna keep the length. So it's 9 foot long. It's got these little stake pockets here that fit 1.5-inch pipe. So we'll be building bedsides at some point. The goal of this video is to get this thing cut down, get it welded back together at 6'8". I want to get it set on the truck and figure out a rear kind of bumper or apron. I don't know what you call it necessarily, but we'll take the section that we cut out the middle and build like that angled down this so we can put some tail lights in it. Should be good. So first thing we got to do is get some line snapped on there and cut the deck down, and then we will flip it over and cut all the cross members and then start welding it back together. So let's get after it. Got the line snapped, ready to cut. So the deck's actually like 94.5. So subtract the 80 inches for 6'8". 14.5 left. I just went 7.25 each side of center. We'll just rip that out. I'm just gonna use a skinny wheel. Best thing would be plasma. I'm not set up for that. Thought about using the torch, but then I think I'll end up just like having a whole lot of grinding to do. So yeah, it's gonna take a few blades, but we'll do it with the skinny wheel. Start ripping that out. Well, this is gonna take a lot of discs. That was 4.5, and I didn't even make it. So it's gonna be 5 per side. They're basically $15 or $20 cuts. Dang. So I think for the cross members, I'm gonna try my Sawzall. I'm gonna run to town, grab some more cutoff wheels, and then yeah, we'll try the Sawzall on the cross braces. I think that'll work good. All right, got the second cut all finished up there. And it only took me 3 blades on that side. So I've talked about this before, but when you're cutting with a cutoff wheel, you really got to pay attention to make sure that that grinder's not bouncing or chattering at all. And I think I was trying to go a little too quickly on that first pass and letting the grinder, you know, bounce a little too much. Every time that grinder bounces, you can hear it kind of chatter on the metal. I mean, you're just hammering away at that disc, so you really got to hold it steady, and if it starts chattering, just back off and restart so you can save your cutoff wheels. So yeah, it only took me 3 on this side. It took me almost 5 on that side, so big difference. We're gonna try to get this thing flipped over now. It's gonna get a little bit dicey. chain a bit. I got a little sketchy, but we got her. She's in a new orientation now. Not much I can do about that, but it should be much easier to flip over the second time around because it'll be a lot narrower. So let's get the Sawzall, start hacking them cross members. Dang, that was a big job. So now the next thing I gotta do is cut these little frame rails off. We're gonna have to reposition them for the Ford frame rails. And I'm gonna go ahead and unbolt the mud flaps. Oh, didn't realize they're Napa flaps. I'll flip those around when I put them on the truck. Sweet. All right, got the bed rails all cut off. One thing I did figure out is, see, it was welded on this backside here, and likely they built this frame and then decked it with the sheet metal. But on that side, I like cut through the channel like that, try to cut those welds. I don't know what I was thinking, because then on this side, I just went under it like this. That worked a lot better. Then I didn't have to cut into the channel, because all those spots I'm gonna have to weld back up, which it's fine. You know, learn as you go. But I got a whole bunch of grinding to do, so I won't bore you with that. Got to get all this rust cleaned off, and then I'm going to use some of this sheet metal, well, this plate, 1/8" plate, cut some strips, so they'll be 14 inches long, and fish plate all of these cross members, so it's not just a butt weld. All right, ground some of the rust off, got it all clamped together. I just have a few minutes left to work today, so I'm just gonna hurry up and get this thing tacked together, the old Weld Pro, and tomorrow we'll go ahead and start fish plating it. That's pretty good for today, I think. Tomorrow morning we'll grind down those welds and get it all fish plated. And then we'll lay out where those frame rails go, get those welded on, and then flip this sucker back over. We'll be able to set it on the truck at that point. I think I'll build the bumper thing on the truck. That way I can kind of, you know, see how it looks and make the design look good and everything. So, all right, well, I'll see you in the morning. All right, well, welding the two pieces of plate together for the deck, it's not gonna work without some backing. So, like they did when they joined this piece and that piece, they backed it with that flat bar. That was just kind of burning through it too fast. So, I just tacked it in a few spots to make sure it was all even. And I'll come through here, grind those welds down, grind the rust out a little bit further. I got all these chunks of flat bar. So we'll just stitch weld those on the back side, and then when we flip it over, we'll weld it up solid. Got all the welds ground down where the fish plates go. Got the fish plates all clamped on there. On the back side of the bed, I'm not going to fish plate it there because I think I'm going to do this bumper thing from the top of the bed and let it hang down. So this will essentially be the fish plate for there. But we'll do that on the truck. So, all right, it's time to start welding up these fish plates. All right, got them kind of tacked on there. I'm gonna go ahead and weld them up solid now. Had to open up the doors, getting kind of smoky. So, hey, you know, I wanted to mention something. All the issues I was having with this Weld Pro welder at the rental, I think were all power supply issues, because I believe that garage just had a 15 amp breaker, and you know, I am still only running this thing on 110, and but I got 20 amp breakers in this shop, and it is sweet. It has not kicked off a breaker once. It has not once felt like it was under power. I'm actually having to turn down the amperage for welding with the stick, where before I pretty much had to have it cranked to even get it to strike an arc. And I'm still on 110, kind of weird, but yeah, I think just having a little better breaker, a little better power supply, it's making all the difference in the world. I'm just gonna weld this all up with 60-13. I was gonna do 70-18 because I was kind of worried about strength, but this metal's kind of rusty, and honestly, like, it doesn't need to be that strong. It's gonna have a bed rail here, a bed rail there. I really don't think it's gonna see that much stress. And with the fish plates, 60-13 rod, it's gonna be just fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and burn these in, and then we'll start working on them seams. All right, well, that's all I got time for today. Thought I'd get a little bit more done, but it's all good. Got all the fish plates in. Welds are okay. Got a couple slag inclusions in there against the plate, the deck, but to be expected. I mean, look how dirty this metal is. I should have cleaned it more, but yeah, it's all good. They're definitely strong enough. But anyway, I'm gonna have to pick this up in about a week. I'm gonna have my next week off, and then we'll work on, you know, sealing up that deck and getting the bed rails on. So, see you in a week. All right, back at it. Just got back from a fantastic vacation down in Arizona. If you're interested in what goes on in my life beyond, you know, the car projects, check out my other channel right here. Put that Arizona vacay there. It was great. But I tell you what, being in Arizona for a few days and then coming back to the 20-degree weather, whew, it's not real fun. At least I got that guy. Better than nothing. Anyway, I just have a couple days to try to get this thing, you know, buttoned up enough to set on the truck. Looks like where we left off, we got to put the flat bar on the underside of the seams and then lay out those frame rails. So I'll go measure the frame on board and hopefully it's flat all the way across in the back. I'm not sure if it's got like a kick up. Hopefully it doesn't. But yeah, we'll lay out those frame rails, get them welded on. And I ordered some new tips for the welder so we can go back to wire feed for a little bit. Yeah, all right, let's get after it. All right, got all the flat bar welded in there, and then down my center line, which is, you know, right next to the weld. The frame rail on the truck is 37.5 inches wide. So I went 18 3/4 each direction, snapped the line so I know where to grind all the rust off. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now, grind the rust down where I gotta weld those. And then also got to clean up, grind all these old welds off the bottom of the frame rails so we can get them clamped on there. All right, frame rails are on. Check it out. I'm gonna open up the door, get some of this smoke out of here, and get this sucker flipped over. Maybe do a little cleanup too. It's getting pretty dirty around here. All right, well, we got her all welded up. So, got a few slag inclusions here and there, but you know, it's pretty dirty. For the most part, the welds look pretty good, I'd say. Let's see, like, start there. There's a little slag inclusion, but a lot of it's pretty good. Loving the little Weld Pro welder. Anyway, got the shop cleaned up a little bit too. So, all ready for tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll be pulling the bed off, forwarding in, and then setting this guy on there, figuring out what we need to do. We're gonna have to space up underneath those these frame rails because the frame on the Ford is not flat. It's got the hump for above the axle, so we'll have to do something here on either side of the axle, but figure that out tomorrow. Pretty dang excited about this project. This thing really doesn't need to look pretty. I want it to look, you know, okay, but the way I'm going to be using this thing is, you know, it's going to be, we'll build some racks for it to do firewood and whatnot, but also we're going to use it to move boulders around. Once I get a tractor, I will have no problem just dropping rocks on this thing and then using the tractor to push them off the edge either side, so we can work on the ORV park, build some more obstacles. Also may eventually put a hydraulic ram under this sucker and make it a dump bed, which would be really sweet for getting gravel and, you know, tidying up the driveway once in a while, and getting bark for, you know, around all the landscaping and whatnot. Anyway, see you tomorrow. We'll pull bed off, forwarding in, put the bed on, forwarding in. All right, see you tomorrow. All right, well, we've been working for probably what, like an hour?
Yeah, about an hour.
Yeah. Got all the bolts out, got the wiring undone, got the fuel fillers disconnected. We did have about 45 minutes before that getting the truck going.
Yeah, the ignition.
Dang ignition tumbler fouled up on us, but anyway, we're about ready to lift this thing up and do the little swapperoo. So she's all loose.
Yeah, let's try that. You're lifting up quite a bit higher than I am.
Okay.
That's it, yeah. Can I see if I can hold on like this and roll the tractor back to the trailer back? Come on, man.
there's not enough distance here.
Let me get the hands on it. Ready? My fingers. Okay. How does that feel? Oh, it's sat. It's sitting.
Yeah, it's on the bumper.
I'll grab that.
Ready?
Will it go any further? It looks like it.
Barely.
Yeah. I was about to say, if that's.
The hitch, that dang hitch. All right, looks pretty great, I think. It's got to come up in the back a little bit, so I'm gonna measure. Looks like this section of frame right here to about there is flat, so I can make that even. And then, so it looks like I got to bring the back up just a little bit, and just build my blocks. And I think what I'm gonna do is build a block and then weld flat bar on the side of it and bolt through this way. Ford and the farm truck coming together. All right, got it all even. I ended up dropping it 1.5 inches. So we had it sitting on the 2x4s, and now I just have 2-inch square tubing, and it still clears there. We'll have to put another block here. And I think what I'm gonna do is just weld that to the flatbed and that spacer, weld the spacer to the flatbed, and then put a bolt right here through the frame rail. I think that'll be fine. And this will be welded on both sides, so I think you'll be just fine doing it that way. Looks good. That's all I got time for this time around. I think we're gonna end it right here. This is gonna be part 1 of flatbed for Ford and Ann. So huge job to get it to this point. This is gonna be great. Using Ford and Ann as, you know, the junk truck basically to you know, do all the dirty work around here, and you know, keep the 1-ton looking nice. I'll just use the 1-ton for towing the trailer, towing the Jeep, hauling the fam around to camping trips and whatnot, and then use this for, you know, moving boulders and firewood and all that junk that I don't want to beat up my other truck with. Anyway, I think on the next episode we'll finish up the mounts and then start tackling this rear bumper valance, whatever you want to call it. Adding that metal here, taking this bumper off, reincorporating the hitch, and then we got to get lights put in, and we need to figure out the fuel filler situation. Might need to cut a hole here or something to mount those fuel fillers. So just lowered the price on all the merch on Teespring, so take advantage of that. We've also got some of these hats. Mine's pretty dang filthy. These hats are not on Teespring. If you're interested in one of these hats, just email us. We got the email down in the description below. You can shop on Amazon via any of the links in the description below. You can become a Patreon. We're gonna move that to a per month support system instead of per video and make it super cheap. So if you're interested in supporting the channel, we're gonna have $1, $3, and $5 a month options with different perks at the different levels. So check that out. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Wheel it, wreck it, wrench it, repeat. See you next time.